Dear viewers, dear listeners, dear ladies and gentlemen, we welcome Dr. David Schwebel to our series of the video recordings about the research that the Academic Life Science Research Laboratories are doing. Dear Dr. David Schwebel, please introduce us to the research at your laboratory, what it is about, what are your mission, and what are its goals.
Sure. So I'm David Schwebel. I'm a professor of psychology at University of Alabama at Birmingham in the United States. And I direct the UAB Youth Safety Lab, which is focused on behavioral science to understand and prevent accidental injuries to children. So our goal is to understand what the behavioral pieces of what we think of as an accident. Why does a child get hurt? It's not truly an accident, it's truly something that we can prevent. And so how do we change the behavior of the child? How do we change the behavior of the adults that are watching or supervising the children? Or how do we change the environment children act within to reduce the risk of injuries?
That's interesting. Which kind of methods do you use in your research? What are the primary tools?
Yeah, so we use a lot of different methods. We've used secondary data analysis. We've conducted experimental research in the laboratory. Most of what we currently do is a clinical trial. So we're using clinical trial methods to test new behavioral interventions and determine which ones are most effective to reduce injuries.
Do you do the clinical trials directly on kids, or these are on animals?
On children, yes. We work with children and families. We do clinical trials where we, for example, teach children through internet games. We teach them through virtual reality. We work with parents in some cases. So, for example, right now we're working to teach parents to install car seats in their vehicle. So it's all with humans, no animal research. And it's designed really to push towards dissemination, to get interventions used in the world to reduce injury risk.
Yes, this is a very interesting idea. I haven't heard about such research before, that the reason why the child gets the injury is because of the specific behavior, and there is something that pushes it, so it's not complete accident. What had been the most interesting finding so far? Is there any paradox that you noticed during your research in such behavioral studies?
Well, you've said that very, very nicely. There are ways we can prevent an accident. What are the most interesting findings? Well, we found a whole range of things. For example, we found products that look somewhat like juice. Young children were drinking these products and dying of poisoning. And so if you put the product in an opaque container where you can't see what's inside, then children might be less likely to drink it. We found that that if you have supervision of children, they behave more cautiously. So when children know they are being watched, they take fewer risks. And we found that at playgrounds. We found that at swimming pools where lifeguards are watching the swimming pool. And we found that on athletic fields. So for example, when we put more referees on the field of what we call in the United States a soccer game, what in Europe would be called a football game, with more referees, the children had less aggressive behavior.
That's interesting. So essentially, kids have a different behavior because of the lack of the human contact. But with the human contact, and if it is nice, then kids are way better. Have you ever tried to transfer this knowledge to adults, let's say to those who suffer from some psychic diseases or some depression? Do you see any parallels here as well?
Interesting. We have not worked a lot with adults. We've done a little bit of work with distracted pedestrian behavior. So adults are looking at their phone when they go to cross the street, and we've been successful at sending them a signal so they look up at the traffic. We also look a lot at parents, and so we've done research trying to change parent behavior in supervision and installing car seats. And recently, I actually published a book for parents to teach them how to teach their children. So it's a book called Raising Kids Who Choose Safety, to tell parents how their children can be safer in the environment.
That's interesting. How do you select the projects? How do you decide which next research question to address? What are the sources of such inspiration for the next set of projects?
Great question. Some of it is what I observe with my own children. When I'm out, for example, the swimming behavior, I was out swimming with my children and I noticed the lifeguards, and I said, I think I could get that lifeguard to watch the swimming pool more carefully. And so we did a study on that. Some of it is funding. The U.S. government recently put a lot more money into firearm safety. And so we were able to write a grant and develop a program to teach children to use guns in a recreational, healthy way, to use guns when they go hunting or shooting in a safer manner. So that was driven by government funding that was available, and we were able to win the money. So there's lots of strategies. Sometimes my students have ideas, and I let the students kind of develop an idea to then try.
Right. So your lab essentially is more in the psychology direction. Do you do any molecular biology or any neuroscience related, more on cell biology level experiments?
No, our research is behavioral, so I do not work at the cellular or molecular level. Important, very important research, but not what I do.
That's interesting. To those who are looking to join your lab as students, whether these are bachelor, master students, PhD students, or whether these are scientists, what message would you like to send them across?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to communicate with students or prospective students. They can write me by email at schwebel@uab.edu. Find me on the internet and get in touch. I'd encourage students to pursue their interest and their passion. I think whether it's with me or with other professors in the country or the world, pursue your passion, seek what you're interested in, and contribute to the world. Ultimately, we do research to improve health and happiness, whether it's my research or other laboratories. We need to remember why we do research, which is to improve the human condition, and we can make a difference.
Right. Right now, the topic of the digital is very on the high level, and a lot of companies, including big companies as well as government, they are seeking how can we introduce more digital innovation in the healthcare, including different applications, small apps, which help people keep the life healthier, better, and so on. What message would you send across to those companies who are looking for such types of research that can be translated into some businesses, as well as to those who are business angels or who are VC investors who are looking for such research to pick up? What message would you send them across?
Yeah, good question. I think technology is critical and changing quickly, and we need to use technology to improve health. So I think these sorts of apps that encourage people to be healthy are very valuable. They should be used. We use virtual reality in our research. We use augmented reality. We use Bluetooth beacon technology. You need to use it wisely. You can't just throw technology and solve the problem. You need to think it through. It needs to be theory-driven mechanisms to create change. But I think they can be effective to make people healthier and happier.
Good. Thank you so much for this. Is there anything else that you would like to add to our listeners and viewers besides that what we already spoke about?
No, it's been great to talk to you. I appreciate the opportunity, and I am happy to communicate with those who are interested in working with me.
Good. Thank you so much.